Hello, it's the 22nd of June 2025, Sunday. I'm just going to have a quick look back at the Royal Ascot meeting and have a look at some of the time figures. So we'll start on the Tuesday. The opening race was the Queen Anne Stakes, and that was won by Docklands, who beat Rosalian by a nose. Now the first thing you can see here is the time figure is low. Timeform have given 120 plus to the winner and 120 to the runner-up, but only 67 time figure. So that's worth bearing in mind going on. The going they gave as good to firm on day one, and that speeded up then. From day two on, Timeform said it was firm for the rest of the week. So we'll go on to the Trio 5. That was won by the Gustard. This is the Coventry Stakes now. 111 plus Timeform were given. And the time figure is good, 109. 10 clear of the runner-up. So that looks a very good performance on the clock there. 340 then was the King Charles III Stakes. That was over 5 furlongs. American Affair won that by a neck from Frost at Dawn, and 120 to give the winner and 116 the runner-up. The time figure 106 and 102. So that was a pretty even run race. Not too fast and not too slow. Then we come on to the highlight of the week, really, the St James's Palace Stakes, when we looked like we saw a Field of Gold come on the scene and looks a future star. So we're hoping that he will continue in that vein. They give him 132 plus, which is a nice high rating, and the time figure is very good, 127. And the runner-up then, Henry Matisse, they give 123, and he had a good time figure too, 119, and then it's back to 109 then for ruling court. So that looks really good form there. On to the 5 o'clock then we had, this was the Ascot Stakes, over 2.5 miles. Ascending won this is a handicap, 103. Got a rating and 101 for the runner-up, Newburgh. Steady enough fractions there. They got a time figure of 91 and 89. Then the Wolverton Stakes, the listed race, over 1 mile, 2 furlongs. Hatam, who won at the meeting the previous year, he came good again. Fairly decent time figure now. Made nice fractions there. So 111 for the time and 117 they gave him for the win. Garland then got a decent time figure too of 115. And then the last race of the day, Copper Horse Stakes, a handicap over 1.75 miles. French Master, 114 plus they give him. He was quite impressive, and steady enough time figure there, 107. So that form looks decent. So we'll go on then to the following day. So back to results. Go on to Wednesday. Right, we'll start off with the Queen Mary 2-year-old race. True Love won this again for O'Brien. 102 and 102 for the time figure. So they went fairly strong there by the look of it. That one now, there mightn't be too much leeway left. I like to see a little bit, the time figure just a little bit less than the actual rating. But that's just me. 305 then the Queen's Vase, that was over 1.75 miles, and we had Paddy Toomey won this one with Calmers, 106 plus for the rating, and the time figure then 103. So they're nearly bang on each other. You see here there's very little covered them. Even down to the 6th, you're still on 101. So how good that form is, I don't know. There's 4 Duke of Cambridge over a Group 2 over 8 furlongs. Crimson Advocate, 114 plus. They gave him as his time form rating, and 100 for the time figure. So steady enough fractions there. Prince of Wales Stakes Group 1 over 10 furlongs. Ombudsman, he was quite impressive, wasn't he? They're giving him 129 plus and 122 time figure, so that looks he looks a good one, and not a bad performance by and Matt behind, 125 and 118 for the time figure, and those two were the standouts in the race. A few of the others kind of blew back. Los Angeles and Map of the Stars were a bit disappointing there, but you couldn't find any flaws in Ombudsman. He looked very good. To the 5 o'clock now. That was a Royal Hunt Cup, handicap over a mile. My Cloud 106 plus, time figure 99, bullet point 100 for his time figure 97. So steady enough fractions there. There was a good even pace. 5:35. The Kensington Palace Stakes was a fillies handicap over a mile. Misinformation won that, 105 plus, and time figure of 96. Snelland then was second. Those looks a decent performance, got 109 and 101 for the time figure. And well clear then of the third, Cheshire Dancer, and figures. And the last race of the delay there was the Windsor Castle Stakes for 2-year-olds over 5 furlongs. Havana Hurricane 101 plus, 94 for the time figure, and Dickensian 95 plus and 89 for the time figure. Now we'll go on to day 3, the Thursday. We'll start off with the Norfolk Stakes, another 2-year-old race now. Again, O'Brien won, Charles Darwin. 110 plus they've given him, and the time figure was 108, which looks good. It was well ahead of Wise Approach in second on 99 for the time figure. Merchant then won the King George V Stakes over a mile and a half, and that's a handicap 105 plus and 97. So, and the same for the second was 105 and 97. 92 the time figure for the third. Garden of Eden then won the Ribblesdale over a mile and a half. She got a time form rating of 111 and the time figure was 100, so steady enough fractions there, fairly even I'd say. And Trawlerman then broke the course record. He ran great fractions really out on his own. I think they gave him 127 plus for a time form rating and 123 for a time figure, and they've given Illinois 122 plus and 119, and you're back to 109 then for Dubai Future. So these two look like they're going to dominate the stay-in races for the rest of the season and into next at the moment anyway, you would think. Trawlerman is a 7-year-old, Illinois is a 4-year-old, so you would imagine that gap is going to close, and Illinois might even take over from Trawlerman as time progresses. 5 o'clock we've got the Britannia Stakes over a mile. There was a handicap, Arabian Story, one and a time figure of 111, but the time form rating, was 111, and the time figure was only 86. So that was fairly slow, that race. So how good the form is for those behind, I don't know. Probably would have suited Fear Not now better if they'd have gone for quicker. The Hampton Court Stakes then, Group 3, over 1.25 miles for 3-year-olds. And Trinity College got a time form rating of 115 and a time figure of 99. 6 clear of Tornado Alert in second. Thought that was fairly decent form now, that race, although the time figure didn't manage to break the 100. And 6:10 in the last on Thursday. Never So Brave was quite impressive, wasn't it? I got a good time figure of 112 and 122 plus on the time form ratings. He looks a group horse anyway, definitely. You're going back to 96 then for the next time figure, so you definitely see him now out of handicaps from now on. Now we'll go back to Fine Friday. Start off with the Albany Stakes, another 2-year-old race. This one was won by Carl Burke. Venetian Sun, time figure 101, or time figure 100 and time form rating 101. So they went fairly flat out for that race. He was the only one that broke the 100 for the time. Time for Sandals then won the Commonwealth Cup over 6 furlongs. It's for 3-year-olds again. Didn't break the 100 though, 113, plus he got a time form rating. Arizona Blaze actually did break the 100. She was getting the fillies allowance there, Time for Sandals. And they were fairly close up behind, though. The figures are very similar down as far as Shadow of Light on 91 time figure. And the Duke of Edinburgh Stakes handicap over 1.5 miles. That was for 3-year-olds plus. Ethical Diamond ran over hurdles last time. 110 time form rating and a time figure of 84, so nothing standing out there. Then we had the Coronation Stakes over 1 mile for 3-year-old fillies. Cersine, good time figure there, 113, and Zaragana, 112. Even January now, 109. They're all fairly good time figures now, so that looks a pretty decent race there. The 5 o'clock then was the Sandringham Stakes over 1 mile. Never Let Go, time form rating 100, time figure 98. Was 5 clear at the second. Good job. So, decent enough handicap form. 5:35. Amilok won. Time form rating 114. Time figure 106. This is over 1.5 miles. It's forward and broke the 100 on the time figures there. Wimbledon, Hawkeye, Galveston, Zaran, and the winner Amilok. $6.10 then, the Palace of Holy Rood House Stakes, a handicap over 5 furlongs. And this looked a pretty good race, this. Adrestia got a time form rating of 106 and a time figure of 103. But this was the one that takes the eye. Hammer the Hammer, time form rating of 113 and a time figure of 110. So he's definitely one that could come out of handicaps and go for group races, because that 5 furlong division isn't great, and I would say Hammer the Hammer is up there with the best of them based on that. That's the last for Friday. I don't think they have the figures up yet for Saturday, just see maybe they've done them in the meantime. No, they won't do them until Monday now. They're day off today on a Sunday. So we'll leave it there anyway. Let's look at the first 4 days of the time figures, and if there's anything on the Saturday I see tomorrow, I'll add it onto the comments. Thank you.